In the last year and a half, our net worth has grown $92,000 off of one asset, and that asset is this house. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Lena, and today we are talking about whether or not you should buy a house now or should you wait for a crash or for prices to go down. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome. I make videos simplifying money and home to empower you to take charge of your life. If that is content that you need, please hit that subscribe button so that YouTube notifies you when I come out with a new video. No one wants to buy a house when the market is way high and houses are going for ridiculous prices, especially if there's going to be a crash next month and home prices are going to take a big dive. That would be a way better time to buy a house, but none of us can see into the future, so we don't actually know if that's going to happen or are home prices really just going to keep climbing. What we really don't want is to have a negative equity position. And what that really means is that if you bought a house for $400,000 today and then next month the market took a big dive and now your house could only sell for $300,000, but your loan is for $350,000, that means that you would have $50,000 of negative equity. This would be a huge bummer because if you wanted to sell, you couldn't even get back all the money to repay your loan, and you wouldn't even be in the same financial spot that you would have when you started the process. Since we don't know if prices are going to keep going up or they're going to start to tank and go way down, and there's no way for us to really know this, all we can do is evaluate trends over the long term and think about what is right for us at the time. So I kind of compare the housing market and the stock market to each other, that when you zoom in super close and you're looking at a day or a month or a year, it looks scary. There are ups and there are downs and they can be dramatic. But if you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, 10 years, 20 years, you can look at the trajectory going up steadily over the long term, even though there were definitely some dips along the way. So when we are thinking about investing in the stock market or other assets, we can always see that it would have been better if we had bought 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Like, if only we had bought in then, it would have been so great. We would have made so much money, our home value would have gone up so much. And it reminds me of that old Chinese proverb about when is the best time to plant a tree. 20 years ago was the best time to plant a tree, but the second best time to plant a tree is today. And I believe that this applies to buying a house and also investing in the stock market. Yes, it would have been brilliant if we could go back 20 years and start investing then. But that's not possible anymore. All we have is today, and we have to decide if action for us right now is a good idea. So all we have right now is our ability to assess whether or not buying a house would be a good move for us right now. So here are a few things to think about if you're considering whether or not you are really ready to buy a house. The first thing to think about is whether or not you'll be able to stay at this location for about 5 to 7 years. So that's normally the number that realtors give people. Like, if you're going to buy a house, you should at least plan on staying 5 to 7 years for this to end up being a good investment. And this makes up for some of those market dips. So in 5 years, it's very likely that even if there's a huge crash, we will have some recovery from that. And if you needed to sell your house in 5 years, that you could recoup your lost costs. So you're asking yourself, am I in a semi-stable part of my life where I could probably mostly count on staying in this location for 5 to 7 years? The next question to ask yourself is, how much loan do I qualify for? So you really don't know the real answer to how much house you qualify for and what your monthly payments might look like until you actually talk to a lender. I hear lots of people say, oh, I could never afford a house. Houses are so expensive. I would never be able to do it. But they haven't actually talked to a lender yet. And the lender can actually tell you real numbers. How much loan would they actually allow you to take out? How much house could you be able to afford? And what would those monthly payments really look like? So a lender can get a really good idea about how much house you would qualify for and how much it might cost per month just by having a conversation with you and putting some numbers into their magic little mortgage calculators to see how much house you could get. So this doesn't even hurt your credit. They don't have to do a credit check until you get way deep into the process of actually buying a house, but you could get some very, very close numbers just by talking to a lender. Once you get those numbers, you could go ahead and look on Zillow or Remax.com and check out what houses would be in that range and what that might look like, and if that's something that you're interested in. The next thing to think about is, are you comfortable with the monthly payment? And are you ready for those repair costs that will come up? So I made a video about the pros and cons of renting versus buying and some of the unexpected costs that come up when you are a homeowner. So definitely go check that out if you are on the fence about buying. But know that owning a house comes with costs. It comes with the monthly costs of your mortgage and the interest and the taxes. It also comes with other costs, like now you are responsible for repairs and big repairs and the heating system. If the heating system breaks, you can't call your landlord to fix it. You have to be ready for that cost. So really think about these numbers before you decide to buy. If we get this $400,000 house and we're paying a $2,000 mortgage a month, am I comfortable with that? And will we still have enough money left over for the extras of owning a house and saving up for emergency repairs? The next thing to consider is whether or not you have a down payment of some sort saved and that you don't have to draw from your emergency savings to pay a down payment. If you do not have a down payment of any sort saved yet, I know that you can save money, so maybe this month is not going to be your month, but maybe in 6 months or a year you will have more of a down payment saved. But you want to think about setting aside particular money for your down payment and try not to use your emergency savings to pay your down payment. And I'm kind of laughing about this because we may have, on our first house that we bought, dipped into our emergency savings a little bit to pay our down payment. And no, that was not the best idea, but we did make it happen, and nothing bad happened between that time when we were building back up our emergency savings, and I'm very grateful for that. But it's not guaranteed that you won't have a big expense between the time that you put your down payment down and you build your savings account back up. So I would not advise using your emergency savings to buy your house. I know there are other things to consider also, but those are some of the things that I would think about if I was deciding whether or not I was ready to buy a house. Leave your ideas. What other things do you need to be thinking about when you are thinking about buying a house? So buying a house can be awesome, but it's all about, is the timing right for you right now? I don't really believe there's any timing in the housing market. You just have to do it if it's right for you right now and not do it if it's not right for you right now. And there's no telling if the market is going to go up and down, so you just have to make your own decision. Help YouTube share this video with more people by hitting that like button. Also, subscribe to my channel if you would like more content like this. Thank you so much for watching this video. Can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye for now.